Hi, folks.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, folks. Good morning and good afternoon.
Hey, welcome back, Feynman. How was your trip?
Yeah, it was a wonderful journey. And
How many?
I had been traveled to Georgia and some beautiful town in Georgia. It was my honeymoon travel and with a lot of unmemorable moments. I'm gonna sharing some nice, beautiful scenes in our community channel later.
Oh, very nice. What's the highlight for the trip?
Um, I would say some clever small animals.
Oh, good to know. Maybe I'll add it to my list. I'll have a look at your photos.
Thanks.
Hey, everyone.
Morning, Shram.
Hello.
Okay, I've just started sharing my screen. Okay, on the agenda today, the first item is following up on the tag and digest. There's a user ask, and Binbin's been following up with them. Binbin, would you want to talk about the update? I imagine you put it on the agenda.
Yes. So I think the user just applied yesterday, and I think the user scenario is that, for example, if I'm the engineer like deploying an image, but I don't have the access to the Ratify pod. So in this case, because when I deploy the image, I use the tag, and so after mutation, it will be digest. So in this way, I don't know the initial tag for the deployed image. So that's why this user wants us to support like mutate from a tag to tag plus digest.
One clarification, where do they want to see the tag and digest together? Is it like throughout? Like, for example, if we provide it in the log, or do they want to have it in the verifier response? Where are they expecting to have this information?
I think they want to see, for example, in the manifest of the deployed pod. Like for
The
example, if
manifest of
you
the deployed pod.
deploy a demo and you describe the demo pod, you should see the tag and digest.
When I describe the pod?
Yes, the
And
container image.
right, and where is everything in our control to show the digest and the tag?
If we mutate to the tag at digest, yeah, it will display as that. But if we mutate to just digest, so in the pod Akash, and
No, I was just gonna ask, do we know if Kubernetes supports the tag plus digest reference format?
yes, I just tested that out, and if I remove the gatekeeper and ratify, if I just deploy an image with tag and digest, the manifest of the pod will show the tag and the digest in the container image.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. I I think maybe we can double check on this, but my understanding was that the tag plus digest reference is not actually defined in a specification anywhere as a valid reference. It's kind of something that Docker had initially introduced. So I mean, if it works with Kubernetes, maybe it's okay that we support that, but it doesn't seem to be specified somewhere.
Yes, my point is that I think even for Docker and Containerd, they support that just for the backward compatibility. And this is not like a feature or for debugging like purpose. So even if we like support like mutating from tag to tag and digest, it's just for maybe just for debugging. And I'm just considering if it's worth to add that.
Yeah, so I feel like we understand the ask. Then Akash and Binbin, do you think this is like a small ask? What's the cost of implementing this?
I feel the code change would be very minimal, but I just don't know if it's a necessary change because the tag and the digest is not at least it's not a recommended way for the like image reference.
Are there any negative impact on supporting this? Because I do see the user indicated that they're willing to implement it.
No, I don't think there is no negative side. And also, if we provide tag and digest to like Containerd or Docker and other like container runtime, they will just adopt, they just use the digest and ignore the tag.
Yeah, I think I would be in favor of us accepting some sort of contribution, but maybe we can introduce it as kind of a behavior that you opt in or as a flag, some configuration-based approach, because it's not like a actual official specified thing. But I think it is important because if you remember previously, we had another customer open up an issue for us to support turning off the mutation support precisely because they had other automation that was relying upon the tag name. So that would also, help out that scenario too.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can reply in the issue.
Yeah, thank you, Binbin. Yeah, if the contributor is willing to submit a PR, that'll be great. Ian Feynman, do you have any feedback or insight to this?
I think with it, maybe we can ask the reporter, the issue owner, to write a proposal for this, so that we can be clear about the scenario, and also we discussed this option, right, to disable this tag and digest mutually existing. Would be like a similar document that we previously did in the document photo. Before implementation, we write a proposal for it.
Yeah, I think having a small spec would be useful in defining the expectation. So I think Binbin, please mention what Akash feedback on this. Like, we want to have this functionality turned off by default, and then evaluate the possible impact to the end-to-end scenario would be good. But I don't think we want a very long spec, but definitely have something good.
Yeah, just a simple proposal. What's the problem he wants to solve, and what's the proposed solution, right?
Yeah, what is the change that's being proposed?
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also second with Akash's proposal, having a configurable flag to achieve this idea would be much flexible. And I noticed that this user forked the Ratify repository. I think he or she might have the intention to contribute to this project. Let's ask him or her to raise a proposal first.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ian Feynman. I can also create like update one of, I think we have a document contributing guide, we can say for, donations, standard procedure, if it's like a non-trivial change, have like a short specification on the proposal, and then proceed with like PR and test coverage, and then like describe the workflow to accept any sort of contribution. Cool. Next on the agenda, I just want to do a status check. Jungchen, I saw you added a screenshot for the patch release validation. Thank you for that. So do we think this is ready to merge? Oh, sorry, Jungchen is not on the call. He's probably got other higher priority items. Akash, I see you've provided a sign off. Do you think we should merge?
Yeah, it looks good to me. Actually, one question I had. Do you remember
Yep.
why I think our chart version is at 1.13.3
Versus the app version, right?
Well, no, I know why we have the disparity, but if you go to the files changed, we
Yep.
were at 1.3.2 versus 1.3.1, right? Is there?
Yes. Because the chart, I remember this. So we for the last patch release, because of the repo move, we forgot to update one of the URL in the chart. So the binary, the app version got released, but the chart had to go through another iteration.
I see. Okay. Yep. Thanks. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay, so I will put this on auto merge. Update branch. There's Jungchen. Hello, Jungchen. We're just doing a quick status check. Thanks for the validation result. We're going to put this on auto merge. So it's squash and commit, enable auto merge, squash. Take my name off. Confirm auto merge, squash. Okay, and we'll wait for this to finish. And then once this is available, I will make the patch release public. Like it's currently in draft mode, so the release note, I'll publish it after this PR merges. So then the customers, when they install the Helm chart with the Helm file, it's getting the latest patch. Okay. So the next item is a check on donation status. Thanks for adding that link. I'm not sure if it's Akash or Feynman who's added the link. Do you want to provide us with an update?
I guess both.
Yeah.
Maybe Akash add the topic, then I append the related link at the same time.
Okay. Oh, I added the topic. Okay, so
Oh,
Feynman.
okay. It was you.
Yeah, if you added the link, do you have any updates? Have you monitored this thread?
It seems the decision was not made by CNCF TOC yet because they don't have any final thoughts left on this issue. But as we can see, there were some latest comments from tech contributor and tech security groups. I think those comments looks quite positive, especially the comments from tech security. They approved, at least they second with our proposal, and they also give our very positive comments to Ratify. I think this is a good justification. And also tech contributor group shared their feedback on Ratify's governance and community perspective. Yeah, as you can scroll down to the latest comment. I think most of the comments looks positive to us. Only one comment that they thought Ratify may lack of the governance process. I think E has a good response to them. That is, we also have the governance process, but it is not very obvious to new contributors. So the suggestions here is that we need to add the contributor and the governance guide to the main README. There are the major comments from tech security and tech contributor. And I'm currently look back to the CNCF QC yesterday's meeting and to see if there are any decision makes in the meeting, but not commented in this issue yet.
Got it. Thank you, Feynman. Akash, do you have anything to add?
So they published the meeting recording earlier today. It seems like they weren't able to get through about half of the projects that were on the upcoming milestone. So they're saying that they're going to schedule another one-off review, but I guess that's to be determined. So yeah,
I see. So they didn't get to us.
it looks like, yeah. I briefly went through the recording. I couldn't see any reference to Ratify. Yeah.
Got it. Is that recording downloadable?
Yeah, it's actually on YouTube. I can link you to it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was wondering, like, if we put Copilot to summarize it, if to see when it's Ratify mentioned, what's the summary?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm writing a PR to add a link to the Ratify README for the governance doc. So actually, early today, it seems some issue on the GitHub server side. Otherwise, I already has the PR sent out. So I met some issue at that time. So I think after this meeting, I will send out that PR. So please, maintainers, help to review it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Yi.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, the next on the agenda is going through our PRs. So I think we've been waiting. We're really excited to merge the KMP PR from Josh. So let me bring it up. I saw some comments from Binbin and Akash earlier today. Josh, have you had a chance to take a look?
Yep, I got all the most recent comments addressed.
Nice. And I saw the increase in test coverage. Thank you so much. That was very good to see. So Josh, you think this is ready for another round of review?
Yeah, I think it's, if there's no more comments on it, I think it's ready.
Nice.
So, I mean, a lot of those can be resolved. Like, so this
Yeah.
is the only outstanding one here with reconcile with config.
Binbin, can you clarify the question?
Oh yeah, so I saw this method is called by the reconcile method. So I just wonder why we have
Oh, sure.
Yes.
It was the cleanest way that I could figure out how to be able to mock the interface, the refresh interface, to give full testing without having to do like an if empty string being passed in as the type. So I just call the new method that allows me to pass in an entirely different configuration that allows me to call the mock refresher. And then I just statically put in that constant that you recommended, you and Akash recommended, to define the reconciler to be locked into the cube refresher namespace cube refresh type of refresher. So just that was the cleanest way I could figure out how to be able to mock the refresher interface.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll take another one.
Okay.
That
Is
one's
cube
resolved.
refresher as a constant. I also have a question about the process of PRs. So Binbin adds a comment, and Josh, you address the item, and then who owns resolving the conversation?
I've typically done that. So I usually like mark a thumbs up for me to know that I've addressed it. So I only put the thumbs up if I've pushed a commit that addresses the issue.
Oh,
And then
okay.
my next step would be to come in here and resolve all these. So that very last one about the refresh config is the only one that has any kind of pending. Everything with the check thumbs up has a commit to it.
Got it. So if you have already pushed, when Bin goes through it again, he can also resolve the conversation, correct?
He could, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Bin, please resolve the ones that looks good when you go through it. So yeah, I see most of these have been addressed. And Akash, thanks for the comment on the adding the value of the Helm chart, but I think we will do that in the next PR just to keep this one scoped and mergeable this week.
Not exploding any more than it has.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Josh, that you want to mention?
I know, yeah. I think it's all good and buttoned up. I got really good feedback from Bin and Akash today on it and yesterday. So thank you both for that. But I feel like it's in really good shape. So
Yeah, thank you. Have you had a chance to sync on the end-to-end testing with Bin yet?
we've got that scheduled right after this.
Oh, cool. Good to know. Okay, so starting from the bottom of the list, Bin, is there any, like we can discuss more detailed PR action items in the PR review meeting, but is there anything else that you want to discuss related to, like while we have E and Feynman on the call?
So no specific. Maybe we can check the save reconcile error PR, so I can show the example in the PR.
Sure.
Yeah, if you scroll down a bit, yeah, I provided two examples. One is for the notation verify, one is for the cosine verify. So the first one is the notation, the two screenshots before and after the change. So we can just focus on the message. So this is the change. This is the screenshot before the change. So the message will just show, oh, this signature is not produced by trusted signer. But the actual root cause is that we provide an invalid cert in our KMP. So from this message, we don't know about the KMP stuff. And if you check the next screenshot, now if you scroll to the right, it says we just failed to fetch the cert from the KMP. And if you keep scrolling to the right, it says failed to decode the PAN block. So these two errors, this error is from the KMP controller. So I think this would be, at least it's more clear than previous one.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And one question, if there were no certificates configured for the notation verifier, would the verifier reconcile fail?
So what's that case? Does that mean you apply a KMP manifest? Like for example, the AKV or inline KMP, but no cert in the AKV, is that correct?
Yeah, or you just didn't specify any cert in the verifier definition, like you didn't specify any KMP. What's the behavior?
If there is no KMP, there is no KMP errors. So we only save the error when we, for example, we pass the KMP parameters, or maybe we say something wrong when we fetching from AKV, or when we like decode the like third block. So
see.
if there is no KMP specified, so there is no error.
Okay, but the verifier wouldn't run into an error?
No, verifier will found no search, so it will report no search found.
Oh, okay, yeah, as long as we have surfaced some error. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. E, any question on this improvement?
I think I will take a look at this PR later to check the error messages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oops, I've closed the repository as well. Okay, so the one we just talked about is 1710. Yeah, anything else, Bin?
Nothing special.
Thank you. And I see this one is ready to go. Should I put auto merge on?
Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you.
Enable auto merge squash. Okay. Thank you, Bin. Yeah, we don't have anything else left on the agenda. Is there any other topics people want to discuss?
I just want to bring up something here. Not sure if that's related to this meeting, but I was trying to, go through the command line interface debugging of Notary project yesterday. I'm sorry, Ratify project yesterday, and I realized that the config that is provided to put in VS Code, it lacks the config file argument. And also the config.json that we have in the test directory, if I just add that, it fails at some point. Just wanted to make sure, do we expect that the config, that the JSON file that we provide for debugging to work end to end, or that's just a sample? Yeah, that launch.json, it actually doesn't have. Not that one, the one that is, in the contributing guide, a sample JSON is provided. That
Okay,
lacks file.
let's have a look at the contributing guide. It's been a while since we've been modifying the config, so it's likely that the config in here is out of date.
Yeah,
so
if
let's
it's
see.
supposed to work, I can make a note of it, and then, while I make it work, I can update this file later.
Yeah, okay,
Like
so
these args, it doesn't have a config file. And the debugging fails because it doesn't provide a config file. When you try to put the config, it actually fails.
yeah, I wonder if we can point to a config that we use for testing. So this one is
I provided the config.json inside the test directory. That also fails, but at a later step. I think it's because some of the configs are not right for this specific launch.json file. But as I said, I can make some tweaks, and when I make sure that it actually passes the test, I can update this file if you think it's useful.
yeah, so the serve command is to bring up the HTTP server. Sharam, can you remind me what is the -s flag? Maybe it does, like I'm thinking maybe it doesn't need the config. Sorry, what is it?
The subject.
The subject to verify. Okay. So it does look like it should provide a configuration file. And
yeah, with -c.
yeah. I'm trying to think, why would the configuration fail from the test directory? One possible failure that I can think of, Shram, is a lot of the verifiers, they're external plugins. So when we debug in VS Code, it only builds the Ratify core and it doesn't deploy the external plugins in the right directory. But the test steps do. So it requires some local setup before that configuration can be applied. Because, for example, if you need to launch the vulnerability verifier, based on the config, it says, oh, I'm looking for this verifier, but it doesn't exist at the default plugin path. So that's one possibility where it can fail. But if you look at a basic configuration file with only the built-in verifiers, which is cosine and notation, and take out all the other ones, that should succeed because those built-in plugins are built with the core.
That's what I was going to do. I mean, first of all, this needs to be updated to provide a config file, I guess, because it tries, I mean, the code, I traced it, it tries to get a default configuration from some specific directory, but it didn't contain anything. So I think we should provide something, and that thing that we are going to provide, it should only contain the default verifiers, as you said, just notation and cosine. I'll do that, but yeah, if I see it's working, I'll just present it and then maybe we can update this file later.
Yeah, sounds good. Binbin, Akash, do you remember if we have a sample config? Like, is this the sample config?
No, I think I found it in the test directory. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but I found that one and it didn't work. It had some extra.
Yeah, this one had all the, like, this was an example to show how to enable other verifiers. Like every time we've added a verifier, we actually put it in this this config.json, but I don't really know what this is. It just a sample? I think it's probably just a sample. Yeah, whatever you said sounds good, Ashram. Thanks.
I mean, I'll make sure that I have something working by the next weekend, by the next meeting, and I'll present that.
Thank you.
Anyways.
I think we also have 2 new issues to triage. So let me go to the issues list. Josh, thanks for creating the bug related to the disabled certificate. Are you able to address this milestone?
It depends on the intent tests. So
yeah,
once I have tonight's meeting, we'll see. But so maybe.
Yeah, I'll put it in the current milestone, but we will keep it in mind. Like we might need to move it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I think definitely the end-to-end coverage comes
priority.
first.
Okay.
And then the documentation we need. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think, what do you think, E, on the priority of this disabled certificate? So we have a bug on when the certificate is disabled, we're still able to use that for verification.
There's do you mind if I dig into scenarios where that's valid?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the most common way that people are configuring Ratify, or at least that's documented too, is they're providing a certificate without a version. With the refresher, that fixes this issue because that's going to get there's going to be a new version added to the map, and then that will be used instead. It'll switch to default, and then it won't be trying to verify an old one. However, if they do specify the old version, or if they specify a version at all, because the refresher won't update that because they've specified a particular pin version, it will keep that in the map. And when the KMP tries to refresh, it'll get an error, but that error never removes that entry from the map. And so then it still has the public key and is able to verify all the artifacts, even though it's disabled. So that's the scenario that is most pressing, is if you manually specify the version when it's disabled key or certificate in Key Vault, it will still verify.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
yeah,
Pete.
I think the expected behavior is if user disable this certificate, as Josh mentioned, the specific version, if user configured in Ratify, it should not be used for validated signature, right? So, yeah, I think we should fix it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're targeting the current milestone, and so I think Juncheng is wrapping up the notation timestamping support. So we'll do a little bit of load balancing if needed.
Okay, I think for this bug, our solution is that at the next round of refreshing, right? This specific version of certificate will be removed from the cache, right?
If the version wasn't specified, then it'll be overridden,
Yeah.
is my understanding.
It'll be pushed down the stack and not used. More accurately, yeah. So yeah, with the KMP refresh feature, that will fix this issue, but only in the scenario if you did not specify a specific version. If you did specify a version, this bug's still there.
Yeah, I mean, once we fix this, with this specific version, I mean, in the next round of refreshing, right? So there will be no such problem, right? I mean, if we fix this bug, it will rely on the
Correct.
refreshing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
This is one thing. Now one case. Another case is if I apply a KMP configuration again, for example, still specify the same version. I mean, after I apply that KMP, there will be an error, right?
That's correct. Yeah, and so that's why it's not
Okay.
been an issue in the past before the refresher, is because the guidance has been, well, if you change your certificate, you should blow away the resource and recreate it. And then at that point, Ratify would throw an error before the map was populated because the certificate is deleted. So it only kind of surfaces with the refresh. So it's actually not, it's only an issue once the refresh comes into play. Because the guidance right now is, delete the resource and then recreate it once you've tinkered with your certificates, once you've disabled one. But it still would happen if they chose not to update the resource, to not recreate the Kubernetes resource for the KMP, the old thing would still be there and still validate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And the next one is switch to verifier name and verifier type. Just is this, hi Vivian, is this just a tracking issue?
Yeah, it's just tracking.
Okay. So this would be in V2. Do we have a issue for tracking the deprecation of of name and type?
No, actually, I think we should have an issue tracking like all deprecation in V2. Otherwise, we may need a lot of issues for like different feature.
Oh, I see. So you mean we should have only one deprecation?
Yeah, I think yes, we should have a general deprecation issue, and it lists that like everything that will be deprecated in V2. Like I remember, like for the third story, it will be deprecated and use KMP instead. And probably for other features, we have some deprecation stuff.
I see. Going back to our deprecation process. I think we said we'll create an issue for deprecation So then we can link it in the release note, and in the issue, we can detail what is the migration that we recommend, the migration actions for the user. Let me have a look at the breaking change and deprecation README. Oh, I see. So for the deprecation, we didn't, for the applying breaking change, we said how to indicate the PR, create an issue to help customer to mitigate the change. But for deprecation, we don't have a documented process to create an issue. So is that okay with everyone, Akash, Binbin? So we'll have the notice, but we won't have an issue. And over time, we'll just use the same issue for tracking everything that is currently deprecated in v1.x. So the process would be just add an entry in that tracking issue for the new thing that we're deprecating. Josh, do you have any insight?
No, not really.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, can you show that document? Can you show that document? I want to take a look. I think one document to keep the deprecated features is good, but we can mention if we mention in which release at which time, I think that will be okay.
Clarification, Binbin, is your proposal to have a document or a tracking issue?
My proposal was a tracking issue, but if so if a documentation makes more sense, and we can also use that. So we can have a reference page on the Ratify dev.
Yeah, maybe we can have a document that have all the deprecated feature listed there, based on different versions, right? And for each release in the release announcement or release blog, we can mention the specific feature that we deprecated in this release. And we can also point into the user that we also have a list of a deprecation feature for them to reference. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Bibin?
Yeah, I agree. I'll add that.
Should we add it to the reference? It's kind of just like a big bucket of everything that nobody can discover.
I think we also need to reflect our the structure of the reference. We have everything on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a separate story.
Yeah, we can. Maybe we can have a brainstorming to how to categorize these different documents to make it clear which document are for the users, which document are for developers, and which document are related to for example project release or some other things. Maybe we can have a brainstorming sometime that we can discuss the structure.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we'll think about it and we'll bring it up as an agenda in future meetings. Yeah, so Binbin, for now, you're going to add it to the reference.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so I think we've gone through the PRs. I haven't checked the doc report. Is there anything there? Okay, just a quick check. Yeah, nothing new. Okay, cool. Anything else, anyone? All right, thanks for joining. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.